Welcome to Deathloop, a game in which we are forced to replay the same day over and over again, looking for a way to break the cycle, all whilst hunting visionaries and being hunted ourselves. This game is the newest from Arkane Studios, well, until Redfall comes out later this year, but this game is also said to be set in the same universe as Dishonored. How will this Arkane title compare to the games that came before it? Well, today, that's what we're going to be finding out by grinding all 58 achievements that this game has to offer. So, without further ado, let's get to breaking the cycle. Welcome to the achievement grind. The game immediately starts with us getting stabbed to death. No context, no meaning, just death. We then wake up on a beach thinking that it was all a dream. And within seconds I was already laughing at the dialogue and the voice acting, as you'll come to find out that it is absolutely top notch in this game. But before we can even get our bearings though, random messages start appearing in the sky telling us to break the loop. We don't know what this means yet, but we press through anyway. We soon find a gun, practice some murder on some bottles, and then find a trinket, which are basically perks that you can put on your character or on your gun to give it stats and special effects. And we also find the hackamajig. No, seriously, that's what it's called. And surprise, surprise, this thing hacks stuff. Doors, windows, turrets, security cameras, that sort of thing. However, whilst travelling through, we come to a door that says that we know the code, even though we don't. So we continue to find it out and find out along the way that my name is Colt, and the person who killed us in the intro is called Julianna. Eventually, through exploring, we actually find Julianna's house. We pull a lever, and then Julianna herself uses the force to rip us through the roof. She talks to us about trying to make things interesting, but I have no idea what she's on about, so she lets us go. The Skywards then tell us to jump off a cliff, and I am more than happy to oblige. However, as I go to do so, I save my own life. Another Colt grabs us and tells us that the code is on the back of a postcard back at the base. Then he dies, we die, and we wake up back on the beach. And I was already invested in this plot. We then pick up the postcard and find the code to our base. We punch it in and press forward until we find our first slab. Now, slabs are basically powers that we can use in the game. So, for example, the first one that we pick up is called Reprise, which allows us to die a couple of extra times before the loop resets. Die 3 times and we wake up on the beach again. We also unlock the first achievement, Good Morning Black Reef. Now, back at the base, we find out that we basically choose to travel to 4 parts of Black Reef at 4 different times in the day. And depending on where we want to go and at what time, the levels can change accordingly. So say if I visited up down in the morning, it would be totally different if I then visited up down again in the evening. And at the end of every day, you guessed it, we get reset back to the morning. So we set off on our first mission. For this we have to go to an address we found just to see what is there. We make our way through the level, which is designed fantastically. I honestly love the aesthetic that this game has gone for, but we also slice a couple of enemies on the way before reaching our flat. We pick up a nail gun, find a safe and check our emails. Now we are told that even though we lose guns and trinkets on a loop reset, whatever knowledge we learn we keep throughout the loops. However, we exit the level and get ready to press on. We then travel to a control centre in the next district, and when we find out that characters known as visionaries are the ones that are protecting the loop, we realise that breaking it must involve them. But for now though, we break into a security office to find the code to a safe that was originally in our flat in the first mission. However, when we go back there in the evening, the safe has already been ransacked, so we must restart the loop and go back there in the morning to retrieve the lovelies that lie within. This is when Julianna invades. At any given point, Julianna can invade the level and hunt you down. She also locks your tunnels so that you cannot leave without killing her and re-unlocking them by hacking a dish. However, Julianna here is the one with the death wish, and she eats a 5-course meal of slug shot before keeling over, granting us the achievement Nowhere to Run To, and gives us a new slab called Shift, which is basically blink and allows us to blink to places. We then unlock the tunnels and leave the mission, having completed our first full day, also gaining the achievement All the Livelong Day. And honestly, at this point, I was already in love with the premise of this game. The controls are clean, the design is fantastic, and the characters are wonderfully done. So I'm hoping that the rest of the game continues to impress me. However, for now we go back to our apartment in the day, open the safe and read the document within. It says that we need to kill every visionary in a single loop, and then that will cause the loop to break. And with that we get a list of who and where everybody is, as well as a clear mission now. Simply to kill, which is fine by me. On the way out though, we are then visited once again by myself. He says that there are thousands of Colts and none of them have been able to break the loop, so we need to be the first ones to do so and come up with a plan. But we need to find something called residuum, which makes our life a lot easier. He disappears but leaves behind our next achievement, Welcome to Black Reef. For now, I travel back to the complex in the afternoon to kill one of the visionaries, Wenji. We head to her research lab before we find her skulking about. We snap her neck rather violently, but turns out that Wenji's power is being able to clone herself, so to actually kill her, we need to kill all of the clones. We do just that, and on the final decapitation we unlock Pieces of 8, as well as a shiny new gun. We are then told to pick up a space vacuum cleaner and hoover up the last corpse of Wenji, stick it into this machine and hop in a special tube. When it turns on, we erupt into colours and die. However, now we have unlocked the ability to keep our gear between loops by infusing it with something called residuum. We collect residuum from the corpses of visionaries and by the occasional object that is shiny. However, during our next mission I was taking a wee break and having a lovely conversation with my chat before I realised I was dying. It turns out that Julianna invaded again and just decided to cheat and kill me when I wasn't paying attention. However, we are thankful for this, as by picking up the residuum on our dead body we actually got the achievement Dead Drop. However, I didn't learn my lesson. Whilst I was too busy once again talking to chat, Julianna came back and finished the job, killing me for the final time, but also gaining us another achievement, die, and die again. So, silver linings are there, I'm sure. We travel to kill more visionaries and pick up more slabs, as each visionary holds a unique slab that once we kill them, we can then take for ourselves. So we kill a visionary called Harriet, take her Nexus slab, her gun, as well as her corpse glitter. Nexus is basically Domino from Dishonored 2 and can connect multiple people together so that you can kill them at the same time. Outside of the level, we infuse said Nexus slab so that no matter what we keep it forever, also unlocking us the achievement Forever Yours. And we are told that we can find upgrades to the slabs by finding more versions of it. So for example, if we was to kill Harriet again, we would then get an upgrade to the Nexus slab. But before long, we carry on with the main mission. I wanted to collect more slabs and upgrades as well as kill more visionaries, because it was fun. We killed Julianna again, as well as a new visionary called Charlie Montague. And by picking up his glitter for the residuum, we actually picked up the achievement Residual Earnings, for collecting 20,000 residuum in a single level, as well as getting shift back. However, we started the next day differently, because you have two options when you start the game. You can either break the loop as Colt, or protect the loop as Julianna. So we wanted to see what protecting it was all about. In this, you become Julianna that invades other players' worlds, and your one and only job is to find and kill Colt. So we hop straight in. Now the first time we played didn't end so well, as turns out Colt has a lot more health than you do, so he quickly killed me. However, the next game went much more favourably. The next achievement we gained was for using Julianna's slab ability Masquerade on Colt. Now Masquerade basically makes it so that you can swap physical appearances with a character so that you don't look like Julianna on the hunt. However, using on Colt himself granted us the achievement Dressing Down. Then moments later we finally killed him for the third time and unlocked Nowhere to Hide as well. However, since those were the only two achievements we needed for protecting the loop, we went straight back to Colt and carried on. For the next while, we replayed missions and killed more visionaries for slabs and their upgrades, also picking up a couple more achievements along the way. The first we got was Cooking with Gas, for killing an enemy by exploding a gas cloud with them inside it, quickly followed by Postmodern Abstractionism, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for killing an enemy with a paint bomb. We then found and infused all upgrades for a slab power for spare no expense, before continuing with the story. However, we found another visionary, Igor, is actually working on a big secret project by himself. However, if we find and disable the project, then the visionary will instead later go and join the party hosted by another visionary, Alexis, which means that they will both be in the same place at the same time. After I did this, it kind of clicked that the point of going through these missions is to make it so that all of visionaries are bundled up together at different points in the day, so that when we do a full loop from morning to evening, we can kill every single one of them. So we broke his experiment and gained the achievement Egorophobia. Now at this point in the game, I realised I wasn't playing it well at all. I was going through each mission slowly, carefully scrounging items and trinkets before leaving and doing the same thing over and over again. However, now I realise that what we're actually meant to do is more of a run and gun. Complete levels quickly so that we don't waste days and time messing around. So whilst trying to find a way to bring all the visionaries together, we also have to find passwords to get into a bunker. Now, since Julianna's a coward, she is actually hiding in a station that is impossible to reach without the use of a rocket inside said bunker. So to kill all visionaries, we will need to get access to fly this thing to where she's hiding and finish her off. In the next mission, we go to a house to find the first part of the code to the door, and inside we also gain the achievement Know Your Enemy for completing a single Eon dossier. Also, please forgive me as well, even though this is a great story, explaining it is also very convoluted as there is a lot going on at the same time, but I am trying to do my best, so let's continue. Whilst grinding more slabs and upgrades, we kill another visionary called Fear, silently from behind, that also gives us the achievement Didn't See It Coming. Upon leaving the level, we also unlocked Only the Guilty for completing a level without killing any enemy other than the visionary. The next miscellaneous Miscellaneous achievement we got was for using a shift upgrade that allows us to swap places with a target, and have the target that you swap with stand on one of your proximity grenades. A fairly easy one to be fair, but we did that for blink of an eye. And we finally unlocked Ensemble Tragedy for killing all 9 visionaries at least once. Now, honestly, I'm not going to be going through every little thing that we found and every discovery that we made, as to be honest, we find so many so often that the video would easily be an hour long and you'd all be bored to death, because there is a lot of setup to actually get the visionaries in the right place at the right time. However, when I get more visionaries together, I will give you context and a little brief on how I set that up. For now though, I thought I'd tackle a couple more miscellaneous achievements first. The next we got was Clean Sweep for killing everyone in a level and escaping into the tunnels. We then also got Bling Bling Bang Bang for equipping Colt with a loadout worth more than 32,000 residuum. After that we got Oops for pushing somebody to their death, or in my case kicking the ever-loving stuffing out of someone until they just naturally tumble off the side of a building. But wait folks, we're not done yet. The next we gone for was for using a Carnesis slab to launch enemies into the air and then headshot them whilst they're suspended. We did that 3 times for the Death is in the Air achievement. We then made an enemy slip on some very slippy sweets for the achievement Sugar Crash, and then for finally killing 3 enemies with a machete in 10 seconds, we unlocked Chop Chop. Alright, now I can breathe for a little bit. Well, kinda. Now for a little bit more story and context. So there is a visionary called Frank. He is a very talented musician and is also in charge of recruitment at the Eon program, which is the program that is responsible for creating visionaries and the time loop itself. Its goal is to create a pleasure seeker's paradise, a never-ending party without any consequences. Now this party that everyone is planning looks great. However, Frank wants bigger and badder fireworks. So by gaining access to the control panel for them, we can actually rig the fireworks to not open so that when they go off, big explosion, big success, and dead Frank. He is actually the only visionary that we kill like this, as the rest we have to kill manually. But by jamming the flaps on the fireworks, we unlock the achievement Baby You're a Firework, and with that, I think Katy Perry would be proud. But for now it was back to more of the same, going through level by level, unlocking secrets and getting closer to pushing all the visionaries together. However, the next achievement we got was for acquiring this beefy ass laser gun and disintegrating a visionary with it. Luckily, as soon as we actually got this in our hands, Julianna invaded, so we turned it into a beautiful pile of neatly folded ash for Out Like a Light. We then went for a couple more miscellaneous achievements. We unlocked the next for killing a visionary using a full loadout without any empty slots and escape the map. We did this very easily for full deck. We then went for 2 at once. We loaded into a level without a loadout and only used our machete to kill the visionary of the level and leaving, gaining us the achievement The God of Osp, or the God of OSP, and Mightier Than the Gun. Honestly, for these two it sounded a lot harder than it actually was, as there is one level with Igor where he's the only enemy on the entire map, so kill him with a machete, leave, boom, achievement's got. And you'll be thankful to know that the next achievement is story related and for pushing 2 more visionaries into the same part. Now, I briefly mentioned the visionary Charlie Montague earlier. Now, Charlie is a maniac. He is a renowned game developer and joined the loop to perfect his games. This man's actually got another visionary, Wenji, the clone from earlier, to remove half of his brain so that he could stick it inside of a machine called 2-Bit and use 2-Bit to function as a digital games master. Now, he is apparently hooking up with another visionary, Fia, the chief art director of the Eon program. They have been meeting in a secret location to smash pasties together, so now that we know the location, we can surprise them both and take them out. And by entering the complex in which they are hiding and grabbing a note, we got the achievement Dangerous Liaison. The next we got was for loading into a level with 32 different trinkets across the entire game so far. For doing that, we unlocked For Every Occasion. The next we unlocked was for pairing more visionaries together. So Wenji, the doctor clone from earlier, wants to get into a secret door in Updown for research, but nobody knows how to get in there. So we talked to 2-Bit, the machine computer with Charlie's brain inside, to get it to play a deep-faked recording of Alexis saying that if Wenji comes to his party, then he can tell her how to open the door. Thus, we then unlock the achievement, an offer she can't refuse. But with that, we now have the day sorted perfectly so that we can kill every visionary in the same loop. But we first need to get the final passwords to get into the bunker to fly the rocket. But in the process of doing so, we actually find out something disturbing. It turns out that Julianna is actually Colt's daughter. So since I'm a deadbeat piece of smeg, she is even more determined to kill us How wonderful. However, daughters and family reunions aside, we find the final password needed for the door and go to check the rocket out. When we enter, we are greeted with another version of me trying to destroy the rocket. And now we need to talk some sense into him. But not only does this Colt just want to break the loop, he wants to kill every single person inside. But instead, we tell him to calm down and tell him that the rocket doesn't work because the other 7 visionaries aren't dead, and by killing them, the rocket will then activate. So we put me out of my misery, or try, because apparently this version of Colt is immortal. So we spend the next 5 minutes kicking my ass. But by finally reaching the rocket, we also unlock the achievement Beyond the Horizon. Now, it's time to kill visionaries, so let's get to work. In the morning, we send Harriet flying, sabotage the fireworks to kill Frank later, we sabotage Igor's experiment before then killing the lovebirds, we bump into a baldy bastard version of Colt, then arrive at the party, we hear about Frank's death, kill Wenji, kill Igor, and snipe Alexis in the back of the cranium. Now, all we need to do is go back to the rocket, hop inside, and fire it to Julianna's hideout. When we arrive at the hideout, we are actually greeted to Julianna saying that she just wants to talk and to meet her on the platform. She tells us to sit down and says that she has all of the answers for us. We say sod off, we're ending it, before she reminds us that we ourselves are a visionary. But surprisingly, she says that she'll help. We pick up 2 classic pistols, aim, and fire. Now she dies without killing me because her gun wasn't loaded, thinking that I'll change my mind once she's dead. Little does Julianna know that I'm a depressed lemming and immediately sprint off the edge to my delicious death. We get the achievement 1 perfect day before waking up on the beach with Julianna about to kill us. However, she walks away, we broke the loop, and everybody is blown away by the sight of a new day. We all stand outside, take in the new sky, and walk away into the sunset. And that's the game complete. Now it's time to grind the last of the miscellaneous achievements and get this grind over with. So the first we tackle is by simply completing a level again for Play It Again Colt. We then link Fia and Charlie together with Nexus before taking both out in a single shot for Violent Delights. We then travel to the party again and kill Alexis by using his own trapdoor on him, grinding him up into a neat little patty for Alpha Burger. We then type 0451 into a safe for the achievement Old Habits Die Hard. We then had to kill Harriet by poisoning her to death. This one did take a couple of minutes as it was a bit tricky. She would either shoot herself and ignite the gas, killing her with the explosion, or I would overuse my power and push her a little too hard into the wall to death. But we eventually got her, killed her with gas for Judgment Day. Next, we killed 3 enemies without alerting anybody. This one was easy as there's 3 enemies in front of a level that we spawn into. We linked them together, shot them in the brain, and gained Don't Mind Me. After that, we had to transmit damage over 20 meters using Nexus, so we found a big group of people, connected them, and as we shot one in the head, it chained to the last enemy over 20 meters away, and we unlocked forward pain. And we were making lovely progress to finish this up, only 15 more achievements to go, and again though, these were fairly easy. The first we got was for completing a full loop with a class pass. Now the class pass is obtained at Frank's Manor and gets rid of all your slab's power, including the one that lets you respawn a couple of times before death. But we kind of cheesed this one, as just by entering and exiting the level until the loop was complete, this unlocked, as we didn't need to kill anyone or do anything, for you only die once. We then went back and killed Wenji and all of her clones within 90 seconds for Quantum Solution. We used this machine to create a rare set of trinkets for Best of Both Worlds. After that, we infused every unique gun in the game for the achievement Spoiled for Choice, as well as killed this garbage man, taking his rare slab for the achievement Garbage Day. Or should I say, Garbage Day! Oh, but we're not done. We then went back and killed Charlie by getting 2-bit to fire the rocket in his game, cooking him alive for game over, before then killing ourselves in a bunch of different ways for the next achievement, the Spice of Life. But, folks, we're still not done yet. The next we got was inflicting a boatload of damage to enemies during a single use of Havoc, which makes you a tank for a little while. And again, once you find the right spot, it's very easy to do for Rip and Tear. We then killed Frank inside his house whilst using a slab ability for Power Chord, killed the almost naked man in every single level for the achievement Death Day Suit, before then going through the entire loop again, completing the game without killing any enemies other than visionaries for the achievement Cleanish Hands. Right, we're almost done, but not quite yet. The next we got was for revealing Igor using a machine that negates slabs, then killing him inside the field of one for not so invisible man. The next achievement that we went for was for killing all visionaries in a level without getting spotted for Silent Disco, another fairly easy one as I mentioned the enemy list level with only Igor on it, and now we're down to the final 2 achievements. The next we got was for killing 3 visionaries at Alexis' party without being spotted. This one was a little bit tricky and it did take a couple of tries, but eventually we killed them all and escaped without being spotted for Ghost at the Feast. And thankfully we are now on to the final achievement. For this we have to complete all of the Charlie Montague games that are scattered around Updam. This one does take quite a bit of time, and to be honest, I did Google the answers to the quiz game, as it was asking some very tricky questions that I didn't have a clue about. And I didn't have time for it anyway, but by punching in the final answer, we completed the final game and got the final achievement, a Charlie Montague game. And with that last achievement popping, the grind is over. Now, I adore Deathloop, I really did. It gives me some very familiar controls and playstyle since I was really used to the Dishonored series, but it felt really smoothed over. The setting, the design of all the characters and levels was also spot on, and I loved every moment exploring. I again need to mention the voice actors and writing because this game was funny and amazingly written from start to finish, a real treat to go through. The only negative that I can say about this game is that towards the end it did start to feel a little bit repetitive since it was the same 4 levels that we had to venture to get small clues that drove the plot. I think it could have been an hour shorter and still just as good, but I also note that I've played very wrong to start with and quite slowly for a while, which won't have helped at all, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And once again, I really hope that I've done this game justice. It was quite tricky to come up with the kind of script for this as there is a lot happening in a very short period, and I didn't want to just bounce from objective to objective giving you every single little detail on what I did because as I said it would have been boring, but I really still hope that I did the game justice. Now it's time to get to the stats. With Deathloop, it took me 32 hours to grind all 58 achievements. I'm going to be giving this game the exact same score as I did with Dishonored 2 and giving it a very well deserved 8.5 out of 10. Also, matching with Dishonored 2, this game's achievements difficulty I would say is a 4 out of 10, as there aren't really any difficult achievements, but a lot of them require either patience, a bit of a grind, and a little help from YouTube, if not some of them needing all 3. So with that, I would say that the hardest achievement actually is a Charlie Montague game, as even though it isn't technically difficult, it requires you to do a lot, figure out a lot, and is one of the only achievements that I really had to use a guide for. On the whole again, I loved this game, I really did, and I was surprised to learn that this game can actually be quite decisive as some people hate it. However, I'd recommend it any day, and even if you don't like it, I'd still recommend that you give it another try. However, that's it from me this week. Next Sunday, we are going to be doing something rather special. The hardest achievement that I have ever gone for as we finally tackle the Evil Within's Akumu mode, in which one hit, no matter what, will kill us, and we have to complete the entire game. I cannot stress to you enough the nightmare that is you asked for it, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss next Sunday's episode. And that is all from me today. Thank you all so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, and thank you all so much for the continued support. I will catch all of you lovely lot next week, but take care, bye bye for now.